everybody. It's Melissa Campanelli. I'm the co-founder of the Women in Retail Leadership Circle, and welcome to Women in Retail Talks. I'm so excited that you're here today because I am joined by two fabulous co-CEOs, Jennifer Bernstein and Marissa Saporta. They're the co-CEOs of Gorilla Commerce, which is a direct-to-consumer company that specializes in the development and sale of home and pet products. Jennifer and Marissa started Gorilla Commerce in 2014 with limited industry experience, but they used a customer-centric and data-driven approach to identify gaps between consumer needs and available products in the home and pet market. Today, Gorilla Commerce is a multi-million-dollar business that ranks in the top 5 of private label sellers on Amazon US to offer functional household and pet products. In our chat today, Jennifer and Marissa will discuss the story of Gorilla Commerce's founding, how the COVID-19 pandemic has changed their business, unique ways Gorilla Commerce acquires and retains customers, and so much more. So with that, let's get into it. Welcome, Jennifer and Marissa.
Thank you.
Hi. Hi, it's really nice to meet you. Thank you.
Great. So let's talk a little bit about the story of Gorilla Commerce's founding. I did talk a bit in the intro, but what was your inspiration for starting the company and what was the white space you saw? So either of you guys can take it.
Sure, I'll kick it off. This is Marissa. So to give you a little background on Jen and I, we actually met when we were 16 years old. We were doing a summer study at Penn State, and fast forward, we both landed in the town of Westport, Connecticut. We wanted to start a business, and the two of us had been looking at the e-commerce market. And we saw, in the e-commerce landscape that brick and mortar companies and consumer brand companies were doing a really poor job at marketing and speaking to the e-commerce consumer. So we had looked at each other and said, can we do this better? We decided to go for it. We heard that, you can basically have shelf space, the equivalent of Walmart online for no slotting allowances. So with that knowledge in hand, we came up with our first product, which was a rug pad. And then after that came up with our brand, which was Gorilla Grip. The Gorilla Grip brand was meant to communicate a value proposition for the non-slip rug pad. Little did we know that this brand would end up being such a powerhouse brand for us. After this initial success, we continued with that momentum of launching new products, one after another, and that has been the pulse and heartbeat of our business ever since.
And this is Jen. Just to add what Marissa said, Marissa and I, in our first year, which was 2014, we invested $13,000 each. That was it. And that was the first and only investment that we made into the business. We then, within that very first year, in those first few months, we were profitable. So we really saw the business take off from day one.
That's great. Was there, I'd love to hear about white space. That's what really interests a lot of our listeners as well. Like, was there any white space that you saw that you saw needed to be filled, and that's why you kind of came up with the product?
So there is, the white space is defined by the opportunity that all the consumer brand companies are missing when marketing to the e-commerce consumer. What we're doing is we've developed a system, a product development system, where we can launch products successfully online. The white space is all the categories. Today we're focused in home and pet, but the opportunities are so great because we can take our system and move it to different categories. So really almost anything that could be sold online, we believe we could sell successfully.
That's a great way to put it. That's interesting. Let's jump ahead a little. We did talk about how you started, and I did mention in the opener that you're now a multi-million-dollar business. How has the company changed and grown since you started?
Well, I can tell you that we started part-time, the two of us, working from Jen's dining room table, just that single product under a single brand name.
And this is Jen. To add to that, today we have over 30 employees, over 100 products, and 8 brands. We've doubled our revenue every year since inception. And more recently, as we think about growing the company, we've had a focus on institutionalizing the business. making sure that we have the right systems and tools in place to help continue with this rapid growth. In addition to that, we have a wonderful partnership with our private equity firm, Trilantic North America. So they've provided us with an invaluable sounding board. They've enabled us to accelerate our growth by investing in really important resources. We've been able to hire more employees. We've been able to enhance employee benefits, update our internal software system, and make some significant supply chain improvements. So, from this small company, like Marissa said, working from my dining room table, we've grown into like this real company. It's really amazing.
That's amazing. I have to bring up the topic that is unfortunately on most people's minds right now, and that's the pandemic going on right now. This discussion is taking place in October of 2020. So how has the pandemic altered or changed your business, and have you had to pivot at all? And perhaps it helped your business. I mean, I don't know if you've seen a growth. I know there's a lot of pets, folks, with their pets out there now. So I don't know. I'd just love to get your comments there.
So this is Marissa. I would say that, like many businesses, we definitely have not been void of challenges as a result of the pandemic. Initially, all our employees, had to switch very quickly to working remote. We have employees that have no daycare, so we had to be more flexible and sensitive to their working environments. It's not infrequent that we have a Zoom meeting and a baby on someone's lap during a call. We also experienced disruptions to our supply chain. If you remember back in February, factories closed, and as a result, we had to navigate through low inventory levels. In addition, our goods at the Amazon warehouses wasn't able to get out. The Amazon warehouses didn't have the support or the infrastructure to deliver products in the timeline that our consumers were used to getting them. So all of a sudden, consumer fulfillment went from 2 days to 2 weeks. We're fortunate that we're a small company, very, very nimble, and we were able to pivot through these challenges. And luckily, we were able to navigate without having a huge impact to our business.
And this is Jen, and just to add to that, overall, we were incredibly fortunate during this difficult time. Like many other online companies, we did see an increase in demand. And to answer your question specifically, we did see a lot of growth in the home and pet categories. We really are seeing what we believe is a shift in retail and consumer spending, and think that this is a big time of inflection for the industry. We're actually starting to call it internally the COVID revolution. As I think back to my childhood and learning about the Industrial Revolution, I can see our grandchildren might be learning about this time called the COVID revolution, where there was a major shift from brick and mortar to online e-commerce.
And a perfect example, this is Marissa, is my 90-year-old grandma. She never, was petrified of going online and shopping on Amazon, although she heard about it. And when COVID happened and she was scared to go to the drugstore herself, she finally got online. She told me today that she's, converted. She would never shop any other way because she was now introduced to the convenience that online offers. And we believe, to Jen's point, that so many consumers that would not have done it and gotten online and now have discovered the convenience of it. And now that's a permanent shift in the landscape of the e-commerce market.
Yes, I mean, I have a personal story there as well. My 85-year-old mom has started to use Instacart. So I totally understand what you're saying. And I want to be clear, I'm not saying earlier when I said, is it helping your business? Obviously, it's not helping the business, but it's just, there's definitely been a shift we've found in consumer behavior towards e-commerce. So I think that's kind of what you're discussing here. Speaking of customers, can you talk a little bit about some of the unique ways that you acquire and keep customers? I know that's a hot topic for a lot of our listeners.
This is Marissa. We're a digitally native brand. We grew up on Amazon, and we've launched with Amazon as our partner. And what we do is we utilize our expertise on the platform in many ways to attract new customers. One of the things that we do initially before we launch a product is a competitive and market analysis. We do this to make sure that we're marketing the right products at the right price point to our consumers. We also pride ourselves on creating really robust product listings. We want to make sure that when a customer lands on our product listing, that we're really communicating the key benefits to our consumers. And we believe that this is one of the unique ways that we've been able to retain customers.
This is Jen. So just to add on to that, we look at Amazon as the ultimate testing ground. As you all probably know, every product on Amazon has reviews, and I know I personally, when I shop, I read the reviews. So a product cannot be successful on Amazon unless it has really good reviews, and it can only get good reviews if it is really high quality. So we really pride ourselves on providing our customers with the highest quality products, and as a result, you'll see that many of our products have, or almost all of our products have, very good reviews. And once a customer uses our products, they continue to come back for more because they know that the quality is there.
That's a great point. The idea of keeping customers, the best way to keep them is to have good products for them to come back for. So in terms of, I want to switch gears a bit. A lot of our listeners are very interested in what it's like to be an entrepreneur and, sort of being a leader as a female. Can you talk a little bit about what it's like being co-CEOs? I find that really interesting. Like how do you make that work? And also, how are your jobs, different despite your similar titles?
Sure. This is Marissa. So I would say when it comes to Jen and I, 1 + 1 is equal to 10. When you put the two of us in a room, like, it's explosive. We're brainstorming, we're coming up with ideas. And that's really how, like, our company was born. Us working together and coming up with ideas and giving each other the confidence to go for it. We, as the company has evolved, we have a divide and conquer approach, and we have defined our roles. Today, I oversee operations, supply chain, finance, and IT.
And this is Jen. I focus on new product development, marketing, and project management. And to add to what Marissa said, while we do have separate roles, we did co-found this together, and we continue to run this together. Most importantly, we have a lot of fun together. We're really good friends. Our families are friends. Our kids are friends. Our pets are friends. We've traveled the world together. I can't even begin to count how many places we've been all over the world. We have fun together. We bounce ideas off each other. It's been really, we've worked really hard, but we've also had a really good time doing it.
That's great. That's sort of the dream, right? To get along and to be a friend, but to be good working partners as well. So let's talk a little bit about motivation. How are you motivating your teams? You talked a little bit earlier about some of your employees, but during COVID. But how are you motivating them? And then what motivates you?
So I think that, we all agree that this COVID pandemic is really, really challenging. So what we're doing with our employees is really trying to stay connected. We do weekly team meetings, frequent video conferences, a virtual happy hour. We also recently developed a new program around giving back, where we're having all the employees in our company participate. And once a quarter, about 5 employees will come up with the idea to give back, and then have other employees in the company also participate, so that we're kind of creating a community and bringing us all together. And to me, though, putting all that aside, I think the one thing that really is motivating our team the most right now is the amount of new hires that we've onboarded during COVID. Our company is growing exponentially, and having all these new faces, new energy, people really knowing that the company is doing well and supporting our growth, I think that is what's keeping us all motivated and the team really cohesive.
And then in terms of, what motivates Marissa and I personally, I know for me, we're wives, we're mothers, we're, as I mentioned earlier, we're pet owners. We love the products that we're making. I know I personally, as we develop products, nothing is more satisfying than getting that, final sample in my hand and saying, wow, we created this. And I then use those products in my own home. I would never sell anything that I wouldn't use in my own home. And I find that really gratifying. If you walk around my house, you will literally, every 5 feet you walk, you will see another one of our products.
And another thing that I'm really proud of is that we are a 75% female employee-based company. We have many employees that are parents, and it's a privilege for Jen and I to be able to give them an opportunity to have flexibility while having amazing career potential at the same time.
That's great. I could see how all of those things are very motivating. I always like to ask this question to entrepreneurs because I know that it's something that you probably are great at, and it's something that I think a lot of our listeners would like to become better at, and that is generating new ideas. Do you have like a formula for that, or brainstorming, or I just love to hear your thoughts around that?
Yeah, so we get asked this question a lot, how do we generate new ideas? And, I'd like to think it's a combination of science and art. On the science side, we are incredibly data driven. We always have been. We're always looking at consumer trends. We're looking at competitive behavior. We're looking at the marketplace, trying to identify where we believe there are opportunities and gaps in the marketplace. We've even recently developed a proprietary model that generates ideas and gives them a score on their size of opportunity and likelihood for success. And a lot of great ideas are coming out of the science side. But we also like to balance that with the art side, right? I like to look around my home and look for products that, I'm using every day. I speak to my friends and I speak to my family members and I ask them what they're using. And sometimes we even walk around stores and see what products are selling, right? You can get inspiration from anywhere. What we're looking for are good products at good price points that are in every home in America. And it's, if you just kind of open your eyes sometimes and look around, they're not that hard to find.
So what's next for Guerrilla Commerce? Just in general, how do you see the company growing? Do you see it pivoting any way, or just would love to hear your thoughts there?
We couldn't be more excited about the future of Guerrilla Commerce because we feel like the white space is unlimited. Our growth trajectory is insane. We feel like we can achieve that growth by simply doing what we're doing today, which is launching products. We have a success rate of 9 out of 10. Today, we're focused in home and pet, but as I alluded to earlier, we feel like we can expand into virtually any category and be successful. But in addition to that, we can also expand into new channels and expand globally. So we really are excited about the future and can't wait for what's to come next.
Great. And then in general, what are you guys both most looking forward to in 2021, both professionally and personally?
Well, I think one thing we're all looking for is for things to go back to as normal as they can be. From a work perspective, we'd love to be able to go back into the office so we can be with our team. I know I would love my kids to be back in school full time because I think it would be really good for them. But we do see that many exciting things are going to happen for our company. We launched over 40 products this year, and we expect that to grow to over 50 products in 2021. We're working with a new warehouse in California. We're working on a number of different growth initiatives, some of which Marissa mentioned earlier. And just overall, we're really hoping and looking to have another strong year and to build our team out even further.
Perfect. Great. Well, it sounds like you have a really exciting business and, some exciting things to look forward to. So congratulations to you both. And that's about all we have time for today. So thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Women in Retail Talks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at womeninretail.com/podcasts for show notes. Women in Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify. And make sure to subscribe to our podcast channel page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, also, please take a few moments to rate and review it. And thanks. And until next time, this has been Women in Retail Talks.